Parade of Grafters.
Ding, ding.
Crazy Frog's dick, was out in full view for so long. No one questioned it.
Flying around space with his dick out.
Yeah. Just...
And this is the show. This is Parade of Grafters. There's a hell of a lot with regards to yourself that we could dive into, but I reckon we're going to touch onto all of it at some point.
Cool. It's an open book, so...
Let's start at the beginning then, Chapter 1. Where you've said earlier in Smashing Crafties, show episode 1.
Smash it.
Smoothly done there. You'd said that homebrewing was your foray into the world of brewing.
Yeah.
When was that? What year are we talking? What age are we talking?
That was 2020. Well, 2020. Yes, 2020. It was 2020. It was a cold year.
I think this might be the issue with recording 2 shows in one night. The concept was solid. I thought if we get one guest in, we can record multiple episodes of different shows and therefore be ultra productive. It was efficiency was at the core of the concept. But what actually happened was that we got half cut during Smashing Crafties, quaffing. Should we actually have a shot? I've got different shot glasses down here if it makes a difference.
I mean... Yeah, let's have another shot.
Why the fuck not? You're going to have a hell of a time at the gig tonight.
My plan was to hurt and get hurt, so...
Well, just as well the band's name is Fucked Up. So, as I was saying, yeah, maybe...
Support Boom, by the way.
Support Boom. If you're in Leeds and you are a gig attending sort, then Boom. I almost said Temple of Boom. I still go to calling it Temple of Boom.
I mean, even if you're not in Leeds, go Boom.
Yeah, go Boom.
We're of the generation of you go up and down the country.
Do you know what?
And you go to gigs.
When I was a kid and I could actually do shit 'cause I had enthusiasm, I would travel from Cardiff to Leeds.
Yep.
Travel back the same night.
Yep.
Drive back the same night, go to work the following day.
Yep.
Just because it was a fucking gig, and it would be like a mate's gig in a pub.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
That was normal.
Let's do this shot.
This is for that.
This is for that.
Fuck yeah.
Travel to gigs, get to Boom.
Move about.
Ooh, child.
No, it's mad, because
right,
we used to do that shit all the time. When I don't go to a gig for, a couple months, I feel fuck, what's going wrong?
But anyway, when did you start brewing at home?
Right, yeah.
Because we're drunk. And
there we go. It was...
2012.
No, 2011. 2011. Christmas 2011. I was given a homebrew kit
by
my mother.
Okay. Christmas?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, cool.
Why did she get you that? Was it a... He likes to drink.
No, well, who doesn't? Well, it's a bit different now, isn't it?
How old were you at the time in 2011?
2011.
This is my interview style.
No, this is me. I was 20. I was 24. Okay. 24. So I was I was very, as a late bloomer. It took me a while to get out of my teenage years. I was just fucking around, just doing nothing, other than drinking, because that's cool. Yeah, my mum gets me this homebrew kit, and it's cool. She's not a homebrew tech teacher. She's a food tech teacher, and that's always been the thing in our house, was just food, and just nice, just the process, just fine, cool. And it's just oh yeah, cool. I like that kind of shit. Get into making a weird little bitter, and I didn't even use the yeast that came in the packet. I was I'm better than that. I'll get some fresh yeast from a baker and use that instead.
Okay.
Which is completely bullshit, because obviously it's not the right yeast at all for fermenting. But it was that idea of fresh is better. That was always the kind of mindset for me. Still fermented, still produced some horrible looking shit. I put it all into 2 liter Coke bottles that I just rinsed out.
Jesus.
And it was it must be about 3%.
Yeah.
I just sat there just playing fucking Halo 3, just fucking necking this like shit that I've made.
3% mystery
Well,
brew.
it looked shit.
Yeah.
Tasted fine. I was just like, oh, I'm all right. I'm a bit drunk. I'm doing all right on Halo 3, and that's what really kind of mattered. But yeah, it was strange. It was just that oh, this is a whole new process. It's something fun and different to do. I've not got anything else going on. Just turn it into a hobby.
How did that transpose into actually a career, though? Because where was the first brewery job?
So I was really lucky. I got a assistant brewer role at Blackjack in Manchester.
And how soon after, like, picking up that Christmas brew set was that?
That was a wild shit. That was... So no, I started in Blackjack in the end of 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it was a real, like, kind of a background hobby for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it'd always been an idea like,
do you,
I'll make my own brewery.
Gravitated into, like, appreciation of craft beer in that time, or were you still, like, kind of the cider boy, bitter boy?
No, well, like, ciders
or lager boy,
so new to me. Like, I'd always liked cask because it's cheaper, you know? Like, I'm getting, like...
And where are you from, sorry?
Chester.
Okay.
So, I live in Bradford now. BD14. That was weird. And, yeah.
What the fuck is in BD14?
Fuck all. Just
your house, and then it's just like...
It's just shit.
Yeah.
It's just dog shit. So, yeah, stay out of BD14 unless you want dog shit. Yeah. I'd always liked cask, always drank Guinness. Just like a smoother, maltier drink.
Sort of like old man boozers in your past?
Yeah, it's weird. I put it down to my dad just being a funny guy, just being always kind of like, not that. And it'd always be you kind of just slightly to the, over here, is that out of shot? Like, we should check that out instead. Okay. And it was nice. It was always good.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, like from the whole homebrew thing, having that control and play around and
as
then
you say,
learning.
Knowing that you could go in that fresh direction. It's like, I've got this potential of an ingredient, but I'm going to try this instead and see what happens.
Well, that's it. Like the whole, this is the beer that everyone drinks. My dad being like, well, that's okay, but have a look here, and then me kind of being like, well, that's all good. Let's see what else we can do and kind of elevating it from there.
Did you ever brew anything that got your dad's thumbs up?
I mean, I hope so. I really do. But like, he's a very let's just. I don't want.
He may not even tell you if you did.
Yeah,
essentially.
It'd be like, like,
you did good, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And that would be like the highest of praise.
Yeah, you just love it.
It's a Yorkshireman.
Yeah. Well, he's not even Yorkshire. Well, he's Scottish nomad kind of man.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's you just. I don't think there's ever. You know what? I think there's no right. It's always out of reach. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
The best is always out of reach.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of stoic father figure instills that.
Yeah. So, first brewery job, where was that in?
Blackjack in Manchester.
Blackjack, I don't know them.
They're fantastic. So, they've been going since, I want to say 2013. They were essentially the kind of little sister brewery of Marble.
Okay.
So, guys that had previously worked there kind of went off and set up Blackjack. Robert Hamilton being the main dude setting it up. Shout out Rob Ham. Not Rumham, Rob Ham.
Also Rumham.
Who else?
Always a shout to Rumham.
He does love rum. But so kind of set that up and everything, and they were very much like a Manchester brewery. Like, you go to Manchester, you're going to drink some Blackjack. And I was the first hire that wasn't like within their friendship circle kind of thing. So they fucking hated me to begin with. Like, I'd be end of the day getting dressed and everything. There'd be dog shit in my shoes. And, no, they're great. Lovely people and everything. I stayed there for like 2.5 years. And then my Northern Monk had a position with my mate Ads. Shout out Ads.
Yeah, yep.
Still at Northern Monk.
Down at the old flag store. Yeah, no, he's a fucking fantastic guy.
Well, it's mad because I worked with Vass, Ads' wife, at Brewdog. And,
okay. I didn't realise she'd gone from there.
Yeah, so we'd worked together on the bar.
Okay.
And that's how we knew each other, and then that's how
She's
I knew
in
Ads.
sales now.
That's it. Yeah, she does international.
Yeah.
International. International stuff.
Saw her a few nights ago. She's bloody lovely.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I caught up with her at Dark City, which was great.
Oh, cool.
So it's just always, I mean, we obviously see all the non-beer events, but it's always nice, like, being able to go to a beer event, like, solo, and you're going to meet someone you know.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so then went to Northern Monk, and that's where it kind of really was like Blackjack was fantastic. Learned to kind of cut my teeth, like, in the whole brewing process. But, like, Northern Monk was where it was really that kind of next level in.
So just quickly, though, you were taken on at Blackjack's, and we say employed as a brewer. What?
Oh, well, as assistant brewer, and when I left, I was lead brewer.
Okay, what does literally that mean as a job role?
Just fucking clean. Throw this here, throw that there. Man, when
so being the person that dictates what happens when it happens at the various stages of the brew process.
Like, it's funny, like, at Blackjack, obviously the titles weren't really all that important. It was like, right, get this done. And then once you get into a position where you kind of, there's that natural, wonderful flow of things, like, you don't need to talk to anyone. Okay. It's that lovely harmony.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just go, done.
Just flows.
Yeah. And it was great. Like, I loved my time at Blackjack, just constantly kind of just going through it. Like, it was just a lovely, natural kind of progression and everything. But I was just like, oh shit, I can go work with my, like, good friends and like, oh yeah, you know what, let's move to, like, Leeds and Bradford and whatever. And it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go for it. So
you step into Northern Monk, and it was a brewer role or assistant brewer role? Or?
I took a down step, went to assistant brewer.
Okay.
That was working at the original brew site in the old Flax.
Old Flax store, yeah.
So that was cool, you know.
And how long were you there for? Before, because I'm assuming you were at the Old Flax store for a while before you moved to the.
Yeah.
Did you go to the main brewery site?
Yeah, so I was at Old Flax for a year.
And what year was that?
That was 2018 to 2019.
Yeah.
2019, went to Old Flax, Sydenham Road, the big one.
Yeah.
That's when they had a gravity kit. So still very manual process, but you had a few little, like, switches to press now and again instead of a valve. And that was sick. Hard work. But yeah, I was there for nearly 2 years.
So I guess when you were at the Old Flax store side, it would have been assistant to Adam.
Yeah.
And then when you went to Sydenham Road,
I was just brewer.
Yeah. And then it was there's that COVID Nicole gave me. So
COVID edition.
Is it literally as a thought that as a brewer, your role is this happens now, like all of these things, the processes, this happens now. What is your responsibility? What do you bring to the role?
So it's a lot of time management and, like, the process and ensuring that all your ingredients are correct and, like, weighed out properly for what you've got going on.
So you're the one weighing out all of the, like, the hops and just the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's on you, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on from brewery to brewery.
Yeah.
And, like, who you're working with and that. But definitely at that time, it was just like, right, you get in, you get your water heated, you start getting your mash and everything ready, and just, like, it's a very, like, I mean, me personally, I love it because it's just, like, it's a nice regimental, just, like, step by step by step by step. Like, you know where you are. It's just like 11:30, I'm gonna be sat down there, cup of coffee, like bowl of porridge, sick. You know, like you know exactly where you're at, which is great. And then obviously this the difference then with craft beers. You start throwing in your curveballs of like, oh, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z beer with X, Y, and Z person, and we've got to do this, and then it's just like, just let me brew, just leave me to it. I don't want to have to like fucking herd in a load of cattle to milk them for a milk stout or whatever. Like, I just want to brew. But that's you can't have everything easy. Yeah.
So yeah, Northern Monk. How long were you at the main site for then?
So in total, Northern Monk just under 3 years. The main site just under 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, what drew you away?
So I then left Northern Monk to go to Salt in Saltaire.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So Colin Strong, who
was also Northern Monk.
He was. I knew him prior to Northern Monk. I did a collab with him at Blackjack.
Oh, cool.
So
collab with him, as in what respect?
So him and his friends from university, they did a degree at Liverpool University, if I remember right. But they were like, oh, let's get a bar together and everything, and they wanted to do a bar and like have a brewery on site. Handyman in Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
Quite a student era from what I remember. They do have like a nice little brew kit on site and everything. So Colin came over and we did a collab with Handyman and Blackjack, and it was a Citra Goldings Pale Ale.
Oh,
yeah.
Goldings.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
British hop.
Okay.
It's very traditional, real nice, like very green tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So not akin to your big New World hops where you're getting all your tropical flavors now, but it's just like real traditional. So like if you have a decent like best bitter on cask at your local, Goldings will be in there.
I'll tell you what as well, that I love the sort of the interconnected nature of a lot of things in craft beer. So when you're talking about like sort of you'd had that connection with Pete there.
Yeah.
There's that, but we had some drinks earlier from Beak. Obviously, your brother Max now down there as a brewer.
Yeah.
That like Vaz that you'd worked with at Brewdog somehow. It was just all of these connections. Pete's missus, his wife. Sorry, thought of these terms. Pete's wife, Vic, was events manager at Northern Monk as well. They're all of these like we seemingly know all of these people so fucking well across their lives and their families, for the sake of all of these weird interconnectedness within the beer industry. It's fully bizarre, but I kind of love it.
Yeah, it
has its. Don't get me wrong, it does have its. Like what's the term they use for that? Families that get. Whatever, there's a term.
Well, like nepotism.
Nepotism, yeah, nepo baby type concept. that's big in the media at the moment. So like nepo brewery concept, and like there's. It is
no,
what
no,
it is.
you know what? No, that's true though, because like
it's great though. It's been positive. It can be negative, but in this instance, I've only ever seen it as a positive.
No, but it's only ever positive when it's good people involved.
And all of the people I've mentioned are fucking sterling. So yeah.
I mean, like I'm super lucky. Like shout out to Col.
Is he still at Salt?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's head brewer at Salt.
Oh, cool.
So
he's been there a minute now.
Yeah. So this is it. We did a collab at Blackjack.
Yeah.
He then started hiring at Northern Monk for an assistant brewer for ads, and that's where I kind of chimed in. And he was just like, "Well, I'm aware of." Like this dude, like I know how he brews. I've brewed with him. Like that's how I know. And like obviously ads. Me and him already knew each other.
Oh, okay.
So he's like Cole's aware of my professionalism. Ads is aware of my non-professionalism. and they're like, yeah, cool. Let's get this guy. But then that's how I ended up at Salt as well. Like Cole was just like, oh yeah, this dude. I want to take him there.
Yeah.
Like I've worked with him in the past and it's been good. So
what sort of stuff I've seen Salt from what I've seen them do at a couple of their bars, it seems they've got quite a sort of broad range. What would you say is their remit?
Salt. Salt's great. Well, the great. It's interesting. Salt's got a really good history for such a short brewery.
Okay.
So I was fortunate to go to the Salt's opening launch in Saltaire.
What's that bar called?
The tram shed.
Is it the tram shed? The main big fella.
Yeah.
The big box with.
So that's just it's just Salt now.
Yeah.
But it used to be called like the tram shed and whatever.
Yeah.
But so I went to the original launch, and like the initial head brewer they had, Ant something. He was dog shit. But I digress. So yeah, Cole came in as the head brewer and really turned it around and made the brewery a lot better, and utilised the potential that it has there. And thankfully they had some availability for a brewing team.
Yeah.
And he brought me in on board.
So I mean, what's it like going from brewery to brewery? As a brewer, what do you really get?
It's interesting because when I started Blackjack, like you know the kind of ins and outs of brewing. You're like, this is what you do. This is the fundamentals.
Yeah.
But then like when I went to Blackjack, it was like upscaling it and kind of, all right, you do it like that, you do it like this. And then going to Northern Monk, I was just like, cause at Blackjack it was very traditional, just like you pump this there, you pump that there, it's fine. Northern Monk, we started then using like CO2 to like pressurize things and move stuff around. I was like, oh god, this CO2 pressure, I don't want to explode anything.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of that's just me just being the sensationalist, just like, oh no, the worst of the worst.
No, but if you've never worked with it before, it's like I remember when I had an old council job and I had a hybrid car. And I was having to go to the petrol station and fill it up with hydrogen. Scared the shit out of me. Yeah. No, so entirely, yeah.
So this is it. So I started in another brewery and I was like, oh shit. Like, the whole brewing and everything, essentially the exact same, but it's a new process then being introduced. So then it, like, moving brewery to brewery, it's just like, you know the basics, but it's then learning
their nuances.
Yeah, and like their methods in that. And like, you can take a recipe from one place, but you need to adjust it for wherever you then brewing it. It can't be like for like. You have to make a recipe for the brew kit.
I was going to say, I imagine, that's the entire point. I imagine, like, if you're brewing within, say, I don't know what capacity tanks have, but like, say, a 50x tank versus a 500x tank, there will be different variables that are necessary.
Because it's not as straightforward as just timesing 10.
Okay.
Like, if anything, it's
once
more
you step
beneficial.
Up, there's an extra variable that's needed.
That's it. You know what? If anything, it's possibly more beneficial to you. You might not need to actually increase it by that much to get that volume. But it's not even just that. It's the simple subtleties from brew kit to brew kit. Like, it's really interesting to just working on your recipes.
Okay.
Who's had your favourite brew kit?
So who has had your favourite brew kit so far? And this across the whole of the career, not just up till
you know what, probably Salt.
And what does make a good brew kit?
Like, they're really fortunate. So their site in Saltaire, it's all purpose built. The kit itself it's 2,000 litres, like per batch, which is a lovely size to work with. And it's like you've got your manual valves, and then you've got your automated like pumps and solenoids. So it's that perfect balance between the two, because like, oh, I'll have everything automated. That's just more problems. You wanna make things as easy to rectify as they are to not go wrong.
Okay. What are the variables that can be automated and should be maybe manual then?
Again, it's just
like all, temperature aspects, or
I mean, you've got all your temperature probes that can alert you and warn you if things are getting too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
But it's just simple things like solenoids. So a solenoid is
the amount
just
of solids in.
Oh no! It's a switch that will react and just literally change direction of fluids and such in piping. So it's as simple as like, you know what, you might not even need that. Just go down and just adjust the valve yourself.
Okay.
It's just those little things. Because you know what? Something goes wrong. Oh, shit, we've got a power cut. Everything else is working. You've got this gas burning and that. You could easily keep the brewery going. But, oh, no, you've put too much, like, dependence on your electric side of things and your automation that you're knackering yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's me personally. I'm sure there's people out there just like, no, you're wrong.
So would you
Do
say
this.
like above a certain size? Do you feel that scale undermines
You know what?
craft?
That's probably the best way of looking at it is in scale.
Yeah.
Like the automation is probably much more beneficial for your bigger sizes.
Yes.
To where.
But also you're more straight ahead.
Yeah, of course.
So you know if you're going for like your core range beers, say a core range session, or God forbid a lager.
You know what? It's funny. As a drinker, I hate core beers. As a brewer, love them because it's straightforward.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick. Done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So essentially, like for the breweries that have those vast tanks, they want to have a vast amount of core range beers.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, but you wanna know where it's going. You wanna know how it's going. You want it to be as intuitive as possible before you start investing into such a giant tank
of a brewing process.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's one of those.
Just quickly, this would be super fucking interesting. Take us through, just like real, like explain like I'm 5. That's what. Crack that fresh bad boy. Explain like I'm 5, step by step, real top level, simple as fuck, brewing an IPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like straight from the beginning.
Before the wort has even been boiled.
God, there's a part of me like that. You know, when you got two wolves inside of you fighting you.
Work the people friendly vibe.
There's
Be
one
the
guy
nice
here.
guy. Be
He's
the
just
nice
like,
guy.
so there's a farmer. He's probably Shropshire. Let's say Shropshire. He's got a wheat seed in his hands.
No. Just
there.
This is put here, then this is put there.
No, so
do this shit.
Straightforward IPA. Let's go down the West Coast route. West Coast? Yeah, West Coast. It's a coat from the West Hall of your house. If you're not got a West Hall in your house, you're doing it wrong. But West Coast IPA, straightforward. Just your run-of-the-mill base malt, like say Maris Otter.
Gonna have to pause you there.
Go for it.
What the hell is a run-of-the-mill base malt?
I exampled Maris Otter.
What the hell's Maris Otter?
It is a type of British malt. America is very obviously GMO heavy, but before that they had much more basic strip back stuff like your 2-row malts, whereas Maris Otter, God, like it's hard going technical after drinking quite a bit.
Right, so let's just basically keep to the basics. We've got a malt.
Yes, we've got a basic, decent malt. Just single, straightforward malt for a West Coast IPA. Don't need to go ham or anything. And you will then mill it, or you'll have it pre-milled, and that'll just open it up. Because if you don't mill it, you're not allowing any of your starches to be released from the malt, any of the flavours, any of the colour. I mean, you'll retain some through steeping, but now we digress. So we mill it so that we can get everything that we want out of that malt, and then when we put it into our mash tun, we'll go for
mash tun is basically the first big tank that the beer goes into.
Yes, essentially just making a big bowl of porridge.
Yeah,
huge bowl of porridge.
Malt plus water.
Yeah,
boiled on up in the first tank.
Not boiled.
Oh, okay.
No, it'll be steeped. The water will go in at, let's say, 78 degrees. When it's all mixed, you will lose some of that heat, so you'll take you down to around 66 degrees, where you'll steep it for at least, you'll steep it. Yeah, it depends on what you're going for, but let's, for example, just say we'll steep it for an hour, and then the bottom of that, you'll have a nice mesh, so that you can take all your liquor out of your mash tun into your kettle, I say liquor, that is the like process term for the liquid that you're taking out.
Yeah.
Well, that's wort now. Liquor is the process term for the water you're putting in to make the wort.
But the wort is the result, the end result of boiling water with
yes.
Oh, sorry.
The end result of the mash. So
Yeah,
you'll take that into your kettle. As you're taking that out, you will do a sparge.
What's a sparge?
A sparge is essentially kind of rinsing the malt. So you've drained as much off as you can.
Okay.
And then you'll rinse off any residual sugars that are still there.
Yeah.
It'll also help build up the volume for your kettle and for your brew overall.
Okay.
So the initial runnings from your mash tun are going to be really high in sugars. At the end of your mash, at the end of your sparge, your sugars will be a lot less. But you're still collecting that up and building the volume and building your bulk.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then once you've got everything for your volume, so let's say we want to make 2,000 litres. You've got 2,000 litres in your kettle. That is a 2,200 kettle. So you've got a headspace for any kind of bubbling.
Yeah.
Just boil it for an hour. Again, it doesn't have to be, but we'll boil it for an hour for this case. And you can add your hops when you want throughout the process. The start of the boil, the hops going in there, that's just giving you a bitterness. You're not getting any real flavour. And then all the hops added kind of further on the process, you're still getting the bitterness.
So is that like adding hop on top of hop?
Yes. So
okay.
The later you add them, the more flavour you get.
Why
Because
is that?
Back to making tea. Like if you put a tea bag in your cup, like you leave it in there for say a minute, bitter. You leave it in there for say 10 seconds, more just floral.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the whole like dry hopping process then. Like you're just
Exactly.
literally sacrificing. You've got hops that have like served the cause of creating the beer, and now you're going to sacrifice this like sort of amount for the sake of adding like this extra flavour.
I wouldn't say sacrifice. It's a different technique. It's a different move.
Say you had like this much hops.
Yeah.
And this much hops could theoretically make this much beer.
Yeah.
If you used some of that hop to then dry hop some of the beer for the sake of the extra flavour, you're going to end up with less beer.
So, for example, you don't need the same volume of hops as you would for bittering as you would for like dry hopping.
Okay.
So if you're going to be just bittering, you don't need that much at all because the time it spends with that like amount of hop. It draws
it all out.
Yeah, that encourages the bitterness.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting the big characters and bold like aromas and flavours from dry hopping, that's when you'd start adding like a bigger volume on the colder side.
Yeah. But that's essentially it then. It's like once you've got to that stage, this is what I'm this is what I'm curious as a motherfucker about. Once you've done all of this stuff with the beer,
there's so many nuances.
But how do you get from like we've used the hops, it's the mash's been created, blah blah blah. Then we've got the hop element's been done, and now we go to the sort of the canning. The next stage.
You've got the fermentation process.
Okay.
So you get your wort into your firm. It's then your temperatures and your introduction of the yeast and how long you leave it at such times and temps. Like that again, because you're getting a lot of different flavour profiles from the fruity esters of your yeast.
Yeah.
If you're not having a good fermentation, if you've added a yeast that's not healthy, like it's not going to ferment as well and not going to ferment as fast as you like. You can get some off flavours there.
So you'd add the yeast after the hop has done its thing on the bitter front?
Yes and no. I mean, me personally, right, if we're going to go, let's say, New England Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Single malt, smash it through, pale, whatever. No bitter in hops. Boil right to the end, say 45 minutes. End of that 45 minutes, heat off, chuck in all your hops that you want for your whirlpool or just end of boil. Take that out into your FE.
Into the FE?
Your fermentation vessel.
Okay.
Take that out into there. So all you've got is just wort, no bits or anything, just blah, blah, blah. Add your yeast. Say your temperature in there is 18 degrees. Hold that for 24 hours. Then step it up to 22 degrees. When you hold your yeast at... Yeast is such an interesting part to it that can get overlooked because it's such a volatile introduction to the beer.
Yeah.
So if you're not controlling how it ferments through the temperature, you can introduce so many wild flavors. Okay. So you do that initial holdback at 18 degrees, so you're not producing any negative flavors, but you know it's starting to ferment. After that, you raise it to 22, so that encourages like fruity ester flavors. So it's not just fruity flavors you're getting from the hops, but it's the fruity flavors you'll be getting from the yeast, and it's a healthy fermentation and how it produces it. Okay. So yeah, it's
I was never
way more complex than you expect. Is that my one or your one?
They're both yours. But this one's dead. I had never really had awareness of the yeast aspect of things until you might remember this. What was the yeast was it that like Kviek thing? What I'm mispronouncing it.
No, well, technically there is no pronunciation for it, so I won't worry. Because everyone in craft beer is like, no, it's pronounced. It's Kveik.
It's like, the band. What's that band from Iceland?
Not Cvlt. They're the Finnish, I think.
No, the big band from Iceland.
Oh, Cidery.
Yeah. Cirhus.
Sorry.
So that's how you pronounce the name. Right. The band's name.
Fuck.
So the band's name is Cirhus, but obviously it's everyone in the West pronounces it Sigur Rós because that's how it's written.
But in my defence,
no, in everyone's defence.
Well, in everyone's defence,
I'm only saying this to be a knobhead.
The lyricist, it's all fictional language.
Apparently, they've made up his entire language, but the name apparently. But anyway.
But this is what's interesting about Kveik.
Yeah, Kveik
is because it's like farm to farm across Scandinavia. There's no actual real pronunciation.
Genuine. Oh, I thought you were going to say with the actual yeast type there.
Well, no,
there's going to be a scam. Like every yeast strain is different.
No, yes and no.
Depends which farm you get it from.
So Kveik yeast is actually meant to be like number one, like the original yeast. Like that's how old it is, and like they've kept it alive in their special ways. Like one of the big things was, have you seen the Kveik yeast crowns?
No, I know nothing. I've not.
Well, Google like Kveik yeast crowns. It's a wonderful like wooden jigsaw kind of crown thing, but because of the shapes and everything and the wood, when you put it in with the yeast and it ferments, but then you take it out, and when you take it out, like the yeast is still embedded within it, so then you just chuck it into the next vessel, so you don't need to pitch the yeast. So it's just a crown into each one, so that way you're keeping your own personalized regional specific Kveik yeast. But it's a wonderful.
The point I was reaching to though was that like at Northern Monk when they started playing around with it, and it was the first time I really appreciated the difference that a single ingredient can have, because it was like they put out. I think they went through the core range of beers, and I think if you what's that thing that nerds do with beer?
Untapped.
Yeah. If you go on Untapped, Northern Monk, I'm pretty sure if you look for Jackson, you'll find a beer, and that was I think Jackson was heathen with Kveik. I think, but I'm fairly sure that they did like a whole bunch of their beers with this yeast strain just to see what happened. And as you say, and as we were saying, it's that whole aspect of we know the process, but what happens when you put this in that's different?
Kveik's a real kind of wild card. So the way I always look at your process of brewing beer is in 3 stages, like your mash, your boil, your fermentation.
Okay.
With Kveik, you do your mash and your boil the same. The fermentation for it it ferments at a higher temperature. So instead of fermenting it
okay.
around kind of like 18 to 22 degrees, you'd ferment it at around 40 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this really is exploding the flavor profiles of what's within it.
Yeah, of course. But then it ferments a lot quicker. So,
So
the
wait,
18...
What is it about that yeast strain that allows the... Is it like some sort of like it's resilient to a higher temperature for some specific reason?
You could ferment the beer normally at that temperature with whatever yeast you've chose.
Yeah.
But it's how the yeast reacts and
That's
what it
I'm
produces.
saying, but what is it about that yeast?
Well, this is it. That I couldn't tell you why it does that, but it's
hardy because
hard
it comes
working.
from those people.
This is it.
Yeah.
Hard working. Well, Cvlt yeast within like your farmhouse kind of beers in Scandinavia. Like you ask them, oh, what's your fermentation time with this? They're like, what do you mean? They're like, well, how long does it take? Is it like a week? And like, oh no, I can drink it straight away because of their brewing process. Like their Cvlt like farmhouse beers, you can just drink immediately because that's how fast that yeast works. Okay. Like when I've used it in the past, I've pitched it at say 2:00, and I'm leaving the brewery at 4, and I can see like CO2 being produced.
Do you feel like yeast might be the sort of the...
It's the key flavour. It's the key thing for producing.
But
any
what I'm
alcohol.
saying though is that like if you've got this one outsider that's like suddenly just it's so robust and it can allow so much faster an experience with so much more flavour, is this not like, does this not represent like the obvious area that needs to be explored?
It's funny you say that because the main thing in like the booze industry right now is no alcohol. It's the whole low and no.
Yeah.
Whereas this yeast, you can produce like an 8% IPA in less than a week that tastes great.
What would be the typical sort of
time
frame
for that?
Sort of,
so like
I'm assuming
we've got 7 days.
I'm assuming it's the ABV that takes the time for the...
Yeah,
the alcohol level
how long it takes to ferment and
because it's
eat
the yeast that
sugar.
is converting the... Yeah.
So, like, the 7 days, let's say, day 1, you've produced your wort. Like, you've pitched your yeast. Day 2, it's pretty much halfway through fermentation. Day 3, complete fermentation is done. You put your your fermentation vessel.
You've had a drink, pal.
Onto chill. And then when you put it onto chill, it just means that the yeast that's in that beer is going to go to sleep because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm a bit cold, go to sleep. So then it drops down into the bottom of the cone. Day 4, you take that yeast off. Day 5, you'd put it into your bright tank. Day 6, you'd probably package. Day 7, it's out the door.
Okay.
That's how good Cvlt yeast is. I know there's a brewery in America. They were struggling for floor space to get more like FVs in to increase their volume of production.
Yeah.
They switched all the brewing production to Cvlt yeast instead, and that shaved them 2 days off every beer, which then actually technically meant they had, let's say, an extra 8 vessels per week or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
That's crazy.
Just that one little thing to change.
Yeah.
Like when I was at Salt, their kind of one of their initial core beers was ICAT, 8% double IPA, fantastic. Get it from Sainsbury's or Tesco's or whatever that cunt is for like £3.
Yeah.
So it was great. Whilst I was there, we started looking at the introduction. When I left, it was you'd produce 4,000 litres. First 2,000 litres, because of the size of the kit, that's how much you could only produce. You'd start fermenting with a normal New England IPA yeast. The second 2,000 litres that you produce to make up that 4,000 volume, you would then introduce Cvlt yeast, speed it up, blend them together, because you got that extra nice fruitiness from the yeast and everything.
Yeah.
So it made the beer better,
Yeah.
and it made the beer faster to produce at bigger volumes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's yeah. I mean, and again, it all goes back to just the ingredients. It's all as you
It's
said,
simple as it is.
and as everyone does say, it's all about the ingredients.
Always.
Right. So salt. Where
Yes.
did you go from there?
I went to Brew York.
Brewer. Oh, love those guys. You probably maybe don't.
It's wasted potential. That's all I'll say on
Okay.
that.
I've liked whatever I've tried of theirs. I've genuinely, and I love
Yeah.
the cans. They've got that great the flavor profile map that they.
yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so funny because
I've told so many friends to look at it because it's such a it's a great way to
known
explore
thing.
craft.
it's a known thing. That's something I did at GCSE at Food Tech.
Okay.
Like, thanks, Mum. It's a known thing, and I'm like it's
Has it
so
got like an
good.
industry term, like sort of a flavor map?
I think it's like
or-
spider flavor profile thing.
Yeah.
But it's a known thing.
But essentially, for the people that are listening or watching, it's on the side of the cans. It's a round graphic which essentially has the various points, the different spider graph. There we go. Different flavor points, and it would be say like fruitiness, bitterness, whatever it will be, and just like the inflections of each at each point.
I mean, going back to educating drinkers,
Yeah.
it's an incredible tool, and I'm so surprised more people don't use it.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely one of the best things on there. Well, on their cans.
Yeah. So what was it like getting to Brew York? Was it? So I'm assuming you were working in York.
No, I was working in York, but living in Bradford.
Okay.
So essentially, on a good Google Maps day, it's an hour there, hour back.
Okay.
Wasn't always that kind of thing, but I was doing 4-day weeks,
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
which was cool. Like
Yeah.
10-hour shifts, 4-day weeks, which was really good. And that's why I kind of went for it. It's like more money, good shift pattern. Like, this is before my daughter was born, so I was like, yeah, I need to kind of plan in that direction. But unfortunately, it's so annoying because people are right. It's like, you don't like these beers, but you brew them all the time. And I'm like, just because I'm good at brewing them,
It doesn't mean I want to do them. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I am a very classical beer drinker. Like, I just want straightforward. I want.
At that point in your life, though, I imagine, because I've known you a minute now, and it's like I've got a feel for your personality. I feel that after leaving Northern Monk, going to Salt, the jump to Brew York must have been like, because they were clearly at that time, I'm assuming that was 2020?
Salt 2020.
Oh, sorry.
Brew York was the start of 2022.
Oh, 20. Oh, so it was
Yeah.
very recent then. Oh,
Yeah.
Everything else is off the boards then. But yeah,
No.
they were still at that point. They were very like you know what they're doing. They're very kind of silly.
Like, this is
There's definite silliness with what
course.
they do. Yeah.
And like,
I also like it. The silliness that they do really fucking works. I do like it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not just a complete curmudgeon. Like,
Yeah.
I do enjoy
What
fully.
didn't you enjoy about the experience there, though?
My problem is, and you know what, this is my own hubris, my own ego. I was kind of like,
but it's you though, and this interview is about you. So let's dig into it.
I was like, yeah, I'll join Brew York, and like I know personally and everything from other drinkers and such. I'm like, yeah, I know it's not cool. Like,
No, yeah.
I know people aren't like, oh, that's the coolest one. I was like, but you know what? I can join you. I can help you. I can make this shit cool. And that my problem was they just didn't want to listen. Okay. They didn't want to.
Well, no, but their brand is their brand.
They don't want to listen to a brewer. This is the problem, because I was like, what is your brand? like, what about we like embrace this kind of
there is that.
What if you embrace this like Nordic shit? This is cool. Like, oh, it's not a brand. I was like, oh, okay. You have done it in the past.
I think their thing though is so. It's fluffy. They like nice customers. They like doing things that are nice, and it doesn't feel like they want to like stake a claim in any given thing. And it's very like fluffy.
This is it. Like,
it's floaty.
I think
they're
my
great,
problem.
but I will say it's consistently good quality.
Well, this is it. Like I say, wasted potential. Like I joined.
Aside from the darks, I've not enjoyed the dark beers of theirs. But
oh, really?
It is what it is.
No, I mean, I don't enjoy them, but I know that's like the big one that people do enjoy. Like, it's interesting because the lager that we produced at Brew York was very good. Like, really, just like it was given the correct amount of time.
But nobody wants a lager.
But this is it. This is it. No one's like, yeah.
That's not what Brew York is. Brew York is silly names with good beers.
Yeah.
But they are. But that's my point though. Is as much as it might sound like I'm kind of belittling, they do good beers. I've had as I said, the darks I've not been as impressed, but like everything else, they're good as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like their thing is like great cans. I love the puns. I genuinely fucking love the puns.
Right.
I can't think of a one right now, but like Rhubarbarella.
Like honestly, we had like this group chat for like the whole pun names, and like I knew nothing I would suggest would ever get.
No, because
like,
you're the curmudgeon, as you say.
But this is it, and I relished in the shit that I would put in there. It would be like a pomegranate pale ale, and then I would just be like, oh yeah, like that pomegranate like fucking parrot from the Black Ocean's sailor thing. And I just go
what
deep.
What the fuck is that?
But this is it. I would go deep as fuck.
You're just looking to fuck with the conversation.
Deep as fuck. Yeah, I just want to. I want to make people feel awkward. I want to make them feel embarrassed. I'm like.
So you moved on from Brew York then, because that was the situation. Where did you land next?
Went to Timothy Taylor's.
Timothy Taylor's, something of a prestige legacy.
Yeah,
what's
an
the word
interesting
you'd
one.
use? Heritage,
certainly.
Heritage brand.
1858.
You still with them?
No.
There we go. We can talk shit. There we go.
Well, I don't know how much shit I can talk.
No,
currently.
you're not with them now, but like.
No, but it was a very eye-opening.
I imagine that was a very. Here's how to be business.
It was.
Yeah. You would be saying, no, we need to be doing this because this, and they'd say, no, this because money.
Yeah, well, that was the problem. Is I went there because of money, so I essentially I essentially became assistant brewer.
Okay. When was the last time you were an assistant brewer?
Yeah, like 5 years ago. You know,
so
this is it. Like.
Was it a kind of like family and kids thing?
Yeah, well, it was instead of driving all the way to York, I was like, oh, I can just drive to Keighley because I live in Bradford.
Okay.
But like, they were paying me $35,500 to be an assistant brewer.
That's fucking decent,
right?
Yeah.
I was just like, this is just fucking stupid. Yeah, of course I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But.
You learn the price that you pay when you step up to the big leagues.
It's that proper.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I stepped into a test. I'm a software tester career-wise, and go in that direction. Mistake. But anyway.
Well, it's the whole. Just don't chase money.
Yeah.
That's how I learned it the hard way. Don't chase money.
Let's skip over all of that bullshit. Where are you now then?
Just myself. Just doing Torn Plant at the moment.
So just the personal cider.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's after a sick ass brewer, like get at me.
When did you leave Timothy Taylor then?
Start of October.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Are we? This feels
controversial.
No. This feels like I'm suddenly.
I mean, we won't talk too much into it, but start of
Yeah,
October.
yeah.
It's cool. Just went to IMBC and it was just like, I'm here pouring Torn Plant cider.
At which point we can delicately segue into what the hell is Torn Plant. So, I guess you've got quite a caliber of beer experience behind you, and at some point you had to acknowledge that beer is an entire fucking ball ache. So maybe we should like simplify the process and...
It's like that's essentially how Torn Plant was born.
Okay.
Like, I was at Northern Monk. I was like, I'm sick of making all this hoppy, like, silly beer bullshit. I just wanted something that tastes lovely with cheese. I was like, I want to make it in my kitchen. I want it to be nice and easy. I don't want to have to make work. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And then it just clicked. I was just like, well, cider. Like, it's essentially British lambic. It's this wonderful, easy thing. I was like, I just get this lovely unpasteurized juice in.
I was going to say, we got this cider to break. Just remembered.
Yeah, go for it. Let's crack it.
Yeah, so this is one of yours. Is this got a cork in it as well? No, it doesn't.
No. So
freaking out after that earlier endeavour.
all it is, just juice, all that sugar that's waiting for an exciting yeast to eat it up and produce wonderful flavours. And that's all I ever wanted. Something just straightforward. So Dysania 2 that we're drinking now isn't as simple as that. It's a wonderfully complex, acidic bad boy. But yeah.
So at the moment you are, in quote marks, unemployed.
Aye. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously looking and
I know that
happy
Nick's
to
after
work places.
Nick's after some people down at Northern Monk. If you're
Pounder.
yeah. Nick Pounder's working. He's the manager down at their new spot, Northern Market.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I worked a bar back and shift last weekend.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know. Obviously that dude is like one of the loveliest guys.
Absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Properly rate Nick Pounder.
Yeah. But yeah. So what are you doing with regards to this cidery then? And is what do you call it? What is a cider brewery? Is it a cidery or
Cidery.
a cidery?
Cidery, yeah.
A cidery.
So I don't like brew. I just kind of ferment and produce and
Well,
make.
yeah, I was going to say because it's from digging into like trying to like learn what I need to ask you.
Yeah.
Mixing is that what it's called?
Just like blending, mixing.
Blending. Sorry, blending.
Yeah,
Blend.
yeah.
I'm an apple blender.
Well, that's it. Like, so Dysania 3 is an exceptional example of like our blending.
What does blending mean?
So Dysania itself is our Solera project. So we have...
Right. I made some notes earlier. What the hell? Explain Solera. Really,
Right.
like, take some time now and explain what the fuck Solera is.
So Solera, let's look at it as a big vessel. You've got your entry at the top, and you've got your draw point from the bottom. So we'll package stuff off from the bottom, but we'll never take it out completely. So we'll leave, say, 25%. And then we'll add another 75% back on top.
Okay.
So it's that constant evolving like ecosystem within this barrel. So that's what we have here with Dysania, is a really acidic, exciting, kind of ever-evolving cider. So initially was Dabonet and Chisel Jersey, and then we introduced Kingston Black. We've introduced Yarlington Mill. And yeah, just those 4 varieties at the moment, but again, all of them bringing their like natural yeast from their origin orchard, but then all the like kind of yeast they've picked up en route whilst being in our cidery. And I'm really excited to taste it in these classes.
I know. So, just as a side note, these Zalto glassware, we tasted them earlier with a whole bunch of beers upstairs with Smashing Crafties episode 1. And we'll see what happens with this glassware now. It's so... Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, it's really funny. The Dysania projects, like I say, it's that kind of constant evolution. There's points where I've been very scared and very concerned about what I've then been releasing. Because I'm like, shit, I don't like that. Is it going to change? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And like, since packaging this has really evolved and really kind of grown on me. And I really hope other people enjoy it as much as I enjoy it now.
I was a lot blunter than the...
Will you taste the yeast? Taste it out of...
I'm not getting too much, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, well,
Yeah, no,
it's
I
very
find
subtle.
It does weird things with certain flavour profiles.
Let's have a...
Yeah. This feels a little sharper.
Much sharper in that. Much softer.
Yeah, the aroma's completely different on there.
But I can taste the yeast in
So Nicole is really picking up on the yeast
the Zolto.
in the Zolta glassware.
It's so much nicer in the Zolta glass. That's insane. Like, it really... Because there's a point in this, like, it has a really nice, like, interesting kind of, like, balsamic, like, finish. Which is very, very full on. But then in this Zolta glass, it really pulls it back in.
Yeah.
You get much more of the apple. Again, it's interesting. Really changes the way the yeast is perceived.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right, put it down. We are sip a Heineken. Right, I need to get you back in the base mindset of
Oh
things.
no, of course.
Sorry.
Debase me.
Debaser, that's what they call me. So we have officially left the brewing scene.
Yeah, just cider at the moment.
Just looking to see what the fuck happens. But I want to delve into the podcast that you've been doing for the past however many years, Beernomicon. When was that a thing that like felt like it needed to happen?
Wow, yeah, we started it 2016.
Sick.
It's mad. So, back to the whole music thing. Me and Ross, we used to band together.
Okay.
He was the drummer. I was the idiot at front, and it was funny because like it was a friend of ours that put us in contact. So I just turned it up in like a practice space. I was like, "You Ross?" It's like, "Yeah." "You Tom?" Like, "Yeah." It's like a nice kind of wonderful awkward vibe and everything. Yeah. And yeah, we just stayed friends since. And it was 2016. We went to Copenhagen, went to Mikella beer celebration. I don't know if it's okay to support that anymore
Fuck
since.
It.
Well,
fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Either way, so we
They're
went
still
to
a brewery. They're still a brewery, and I fucking love them. And I'm gonna say, stake a flag in the ground. I fucking love them.
Sick. So yeah, we went out there together. It was wonderful. We took our partners with us. We had like this beautiful Copenhagen like penthouse. It's just like, wow, this is how Europe is. This is sick. We should never leave the EU. This is amazing. And over there, we're like, yeah, let's do a podcast. Like, he's got like a cool media degree and that kind of shit.
So he had the marketing awareness.
He
and you had
didn't
the
know
knowledge.
how. He's gonna love that. Yeah, I got the knowledge. He's got fucking.
Ross, go fuck yourself. You don't know shit about beer.
Fuck you.
Basically.
Fuck
I've been hearing you don't know nothing about beer, and that's just the way it is. You know how to sell a Facebook advert or something. Press a publish on a Facebook advert. This guy knows beer though.
Everyone hates you.
People don't say nice things about you. That's the way it is.
Get over it. Jeez.
So you set this thing up, and
people listened.
yeah,
It was mad.
nice.
Like, we were just like, let's fuck around. It's just something to do, you know.
Yeah.
And, like, people listened, and it was mad. Like, and we've chatted to loads of breweries from all over the world, whether it be in the UK or even
Out
when
and
we've
about.
been around, you know.
Was it just like one of them of, I'm at a beer festival, I see somebody, let's grab them?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
mean, even like we kind of go abroad and stuff and be like, hey, we're here. Do you want to do a podcast?
Yeah.
Like this, like it's so mad. I went on my honeymoon to Dubrovnik,
yeah.
and there's Dubrovnik Craft Beer Brewing Company or whatever. Like we just went down just, like for a beer or whatever, and there's like a load of stickers on the bar behind, and there's a fucking Beernomicon
Oh, sick!
sticker. Yeah.
Wow.
I was just like, what the fuck?
That's fucking outrageous.
I
That's
just, like-
really cool.
Like, Phoebe, we gotta get the fuck out of here. This is weird.
Yeah. That's fucking lovely though.
But that's it. It's mad, and like,
Yeah.
the power of stickers.
Yeah.
You know, you just getting them out there.
I used to love it. Like every band I've ever done has always had stickers and put them fucking in my doorway now. If you look up, there's like weird where the doorway closes. There's like old band stickers from like 2003 or some shit.
Nice.
And it's like it's almost like a form of communication in the punk scene.
Man. That's
Stickers.
it. Like I was here,
Yeah.
done. But no, like it was cool. Like we did it. Like obviously you might have picked up from my tone. It's very kind of
On its last legs.
yeah. Like we've not announced.
But I was blown away because I for my sins didn't catch wind of you doing this shit at the time. But you've essentially been a fucking brewery, essentially, with the Cult of Independence
Oh shit.
releases.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to Nicole earlier, what happens when you're essentially orchestrating the release of a beer, but you're not actually a brewery. You're kind of a cuckoo, but you're not really a cuckoo. And it's like, what are you? But you're kind of a brewery, really?
Yeah, no.
So just explain quickly. You've done via the Beernomicon connections that you've done, you have released under the moniker of Cult of Independence,
yeah.
2 rounds of essentially what were ranges of collab beers with just independent cool fucks that you liked.
Yeah.
So you were like, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool. Work together, brew us a beer, we'll put it out, we'll arrange where it's sold. How the fuck did you do all of that? Tell us, because that's not just being a brewery. That is the whole supply chain.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, it was strange.
And I bet you're not looking forward to version 3
Well, who knows?
if it ever happens.
Fingers crossed. Well, hopefully it doesn't need to happen. So like,
But what would that mean?
So the first one we did was the first lockdown, and like it sucked, and it didn't suck.
What
It was
sucked?
it was strange because people are like, oh yeah, I've got all this beer from my supermarket, lovely weather, I'm just chilling out, just drinking that. But it's like, at that time, it was the supermarkets that were prospering. Like,
Yeah.
they had a real
Proper monopoly of the
yeah,
situation.
what do you call it? Like,
Well, because they were able to say like
stronghold
if
on
you-
your
if you-
market.
there were those like collab independent releases like that Morrison's did with
Yeah.
I think it was like Cloudwater X Northern Monk X Queer Brewing X whatever else it was. They were all together and they were all able to get under an in quote marks independent banner, but out.
This is it. But then this is something that really didn't sit right with me. So I'm working in the industry at the time, and then we're getting things back from supermarkets like, oh hi, yeah, we'd like you to do a collab with either of these breweries. It's like, yo, you don't dictate the market.
Yeah.
The market is dictated by the customer. You're not here to tell them that they should be drinking these breweries and this style, because they were like saying the beer that you had to brew with the brewers just like, nah, just this is wrong.
Yeah, I think we got off track there.
Cult of Independence.
Cult of Independence. So, is it a label? Is it a brewery? Is it a what? How would you define it?
Just an idea. Just an idea. Project.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is you like pairing
well,
breweries.
Well, that was it. The first one was only small. There was only 3 beers. There was 6 people involved. It was Salt with Jolly Bean Roastery. It was Chapter with Bernie's Groceries, and I can't remember the third.
Regardless.
Oh no, I know the third. It's Don Zocco.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Donald Zocco.
Newcastle's finest.
Yeah. With
those guys are fucking great. Actually, let's take a moment to. You know what? If we poured a liquor out for the dead homies, it would be Alpha Delta.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
Alpha Delta just this past few days have. Please don't pour out beer.
I'm not going to. I decided I wanted to change my palate up a bit.
I was going to pour out a beer. I genuinely was. Alpha Delta were fucking great. It's like they were, of the breweries that surfaced, of the sort of the craft sort of renaissance almost in the UK.
Yeah, they were. It's interesting because the whole craft beer
explosion.
Yeah. And you always have your like kind of second wave, third wave, blah, blah, blah. Like Alpha Delta had a very permanent kind of third wave like hold.
But they were good though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that like really fucked with me. It was like just, oh, okay, cool, who are they? And then you kind of tried it and it's like, oh, consistently good.
Yeah.
And good people as well from what I understand. So
oh, for sure. Yeah. And that's what sucks the most whenever you see like a brewery go under.
And the amount of breweries that have gone under the past like 3 years, I've genuinely not felt anything has hit as hard as Alpha Delta.
Oh, real?
Genuinely. Who else?
I want to say Mad Hatter and
way back when.
Mad Hatter, okay.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Mad Hatter, but beyond.
I still think about their beers.
Who can you think of that's died in the past 3 years that you really give a fuck about? That has been a genuine like loss to the beer scene. Exactly. So that's my point. Exactly. But we were talking on. So round 2 of Cult of Independence suddenly exploded to from.
So three,
2
years later.
To.
Yeah. So we did
3
7.
beers to. So you more than doubled the beers that you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I was. I'm a yes man. I'm like, I just, when people are like, oh, can we do this? Can we do this? I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. I don't want to say no to something. I want to be like, yes, let's do this. And then if there's a problem, I want to then find a way around the problem in the future. Like, let's just get it done. And I think obviously with more breweries being involved, it's greater awareness. So obviously Cult of Independence Volume 1 was started to encourage people to not just spend wholly at supermarkets, just to remember the independent like producers in their communities, because obviously they had some real like strict rules that they had to adhere to, which the Tories didn't have to. They could do what they wanted, but like good people, good businesses were suffering, and it was just like, just chuck them a couple quid.
Yeah.
The second volume kind of came about similar again. It was just like, cause he live.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking shit. Like people's like energy bills are just getting fucking yoinked up from underneath them. It's the case again. Just fuck off, you big people. Just focus on your local community people. You don't have to give them
Yes.
all your money.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
chuck them a couple of quid here and there. It's just like, ooh, I was going to get a £10 crate of Guinness from such and such.
So I imagine like it was kind of like
Calm.
you encouraged the breweries to do like kind of smaller runs,
Yeah.
but then you had like sort of the sellers lined up that were like they're like all the local fucking people.
But this is it. We were looking at, instead of just
knowing the local
independent
scene, essentially.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like just getting everyone involved.
Yeah.
This second round was just more about just everyone. It's just like, look, just celebrate.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't like, yeah, the cause you live sucks, but it doesn't mean you have to be bare bones, just like having a miserable time.
Yeah.
Like, just have a bit here, have a bit there.
Yeah.
Look after each other. Have a good time.
Yeah. But essentially, get the beer fucking out there.
Oh
and-
yeah,
yeah.
You know, and it was cool, and like the fact that we did it with that many breweries this time,
It was
and then
insane. It was like what? So you got 14 breweries involved.
oh god, I actually don't know. I don't like because there's the initial people that I was like, hey, do you want to be involved in this? Do you want to get this going? Because like it was Rivington off the top of my head. I was like, hey guys, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we love you dudes. I hope you love us as well. This is what we wanted to achieve.
So did you do it under like the sort of the Beernomicon banner, so to speak?
Yeah. Like, so it's a nice kind of like platform to use to shout about these things. Like, we just want to kind of push just good stuff, and it's just like these are all people we know. And it's mad because like I say, we went to Rivington and we're like, let's do this. Is there anyone you'd like to work with in your area? Like, oh well, we're going to do a collab with Tartarus, but we'll bring this then bakery in as well. It's like, it was mint. So we just approached our
Tartarus
one
were
friend.
involved in round 2, weren't
Well,
they?
this is it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's then 2 other people that like, it's great because we've not had to then speak to them.
Yeah.
But they've then been pulled in and then they're
Yeah.
a part of it. And it's just like, that's how it should be. It's just that, like, you say to one
Just
person,
collaborative.
they say to 2.
It's collaborative, but it's also like sort of just symbiotic. It's just we're involved,
Yes.
and naturally everyone else is involved.
Yes.
Everyone that we're involved with is naturally going to be brought into it. Yeah.
For sure. And that's it. It's just meant to be nice.
Yeah.
It's just meant to be spreading the message. Like, it's not about one-upmanship. It's not about, I'll make a good buck on this event. It's just
fully.
Let's just be good. Let's just be
Yeah.
good. Let's just be nice.
Yeah.
That's all anyone wants, right?
You know what? I reckon that is about as good a point as any to piece this out.
Yeah, I think it is.
Parade of Grafters.
Your teeth and no!
This has been a Free Pour Studio production.